Then I went to go see Captain America, Civil War this weekend. And it's alright. No, I'm just kidding. It was pretty awesome. Alright, we're going to try to do a quick spoiler-free review of Captain America. There are a couple of things that I want to talk about with spoilers, so we'll just do that in a separate video so that we can keep this video spoiler-free. Okay, first things first. Civil War continues all the things that made Winter Soldier so good. And what I'm talking about there is they have the Marvel, humor, they have the Marvel tone to it, but it is toned down, it is more realistic. And that's because of a couple of things. First of all, because of who Captain America is. Captain America is a superhero. He does have superpowers, but all of his superpowers are really enhancements of what a guy can normally do. All right? And so, if you have just a super trained Jason Bourne type of a person, yeah, Cap is going to be stronger. Yeah, he's going to be able to jump farther. Yeah, he's faster. But he doesn't have any sort of, laser beams coming out of his eyes or adamantium claws or, an iron suit that can help him fly and stuff like that. He is still a guy. And so that actually allows the filmmakers to take a superhero movie and tone the super part of it down to make it even more like an action film. But it's still a Marvel movie. This does not have like the realism of like the Dark Knight trilogy. It still has crazy superhero stuff going on. It still has the sort of Marvel sense of humor and Marvel action to it. Even more so this time because there are other superheroes that do have those powers in it that were not around in Winter Soldier. But the second reason for that, and I think that we all owe a debt of gratitude to what Ed Brubaker did with the comics, because both of these plots are coming off of the run that Brubaker did. Now, Civil War was a much bigger plot in the Marvel universe, and that wasn't directly under Brubaker's control. But Winter Soldier definitely was, and the stuff that came after that whole era that really defined Captain America as not simply another Marvel superhero, but almost a Marvel super secret agent. And so what we see is something much more akin to what James Bond would be if James Bond had superpowers, super strength and stuff. And I think that's coming a lot off of what Brubaker was doing with the comic. And I frankly love it. The last couple of Marvel movies that I saw, I thought were starting to become formulaic, and I need to distinguish between formula and formulaic. Formula is just a style. You can do a lot of original stuff within a formula. I mean, look at the variety of, let's just say sonnets, okay? We have a very strict form there that's 14 lines, but look at the variety in that formula. Look at the originality in that formula. Goodness, you could read Shakespeare sonnets all day long and not get tired. But when you become formulaic, then it just becomes, it's like, okay, yeah, now I know what's going to happen next. That was my biggest problem with Ant-Man, honestly. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd was amazing in Ant-Man. I loved the characters in Ant-Man, but it was a retelling. And I'm going to say scene by scene. It was, I don't think that's actually true, but pretty close to a scene by scene remake of Iron Man. And I was just like, I'm not sure why we're watching this movie again. It's the same. Actually, the same thing with the Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, there was a different villain, and there was a different girl. It was the same movie as Spider-Man, and so I didn't see the point of what we were watching. We had already done that, and it was good. The original Spider-Man was great. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no real need to remake that exact same movie. But Marvel as a whole, the temptation, because there's so much coming out at once, there's so much hitting the theaters, and it all works, and it's making tons of money, and so the temptation is to take the formula and become formulaic with it. But Captain America is pushing against that formula, and I love it. It's adding a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a different spin on the Marvel Universe. It's one of the reasons I love Captain America to start with. It's just it has that humanity to it that a lot of the other superheroes don't. Which brings me to the point of, why is this not an Avengers movie? And when you see it, you're going to see it is very clearly a Captain America movie with the Avengers in it, and the Avengers are all there. I mean, Thor's Thor's not there, but. The Avengers are there. They're playing a massive role. These are not cameo roles. These are people coming in and playing major parts in this plot. So why is this not called Avengers Civil War? And it's because it's a Captain America movie. And it has everything to do with tone. It has nothing to do with how much Captain America is on the screen. It has everything to do with, this is the same sort of tone that Winter Soldier had. And it's actually a sequel to The Winter Soldier, because this is the next step in where Bucky is going and how Cap is trying to guide that plot too. And so I thought, even though Iron Man is this massive influence on this film, just because, Wanda had a much bigger role than I thought she would. It was wonderful. Even though all these characters have this much bigger role in this movie, it was totally appropriate to call this Captain America and not necessarily Avengers. So we'll talk about just a couple of the smaller details of it. The fight scenes were magnificent. One of the things I love about Captain America is you have superhero fight scenes with superheroes in them, but they're not just kind of CGI creatures zapping laser bolts in space. They're still very much realistically based. They're still martial arts based. They can jump off the top of a building and land fine. That's what makes them superheroes. But they still have to fight like guys, and I loved it. The whole first sequence really, and I think intentionally so, felt like a James Bond pre-credit sequence. And being able to see the new Avengers team in action in a very realistic way. I mean, because the heavy hitters are gone, right? Hulk's not there, Thor's not there, Iron Man is not there. So what does this new team have to do? And it's much more espionage based. It's much more special ops type of an atmosphere, and they let that just shine at the very beginning. Seeing the team in action, Black Widow and Wanda and Vision was just really, really great, and letting each one of them have share the spotlight with Cap, do what they do well, show off their power, show off their training, was really well done and very well balanced. Let me just add about Spider-Man. If this is a taste of what's to come with Spider-Man, I think we might have the best Spider-Man ever. He so well balanced both Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and that is, for the actor, the hardest thing about doing a superhero, is because you're really playing two characters, and they're different characters. So Tobey Maguire was a really great Peter Parker. I wasn't all that thrilled with the Spider-Man. in the Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm blanking on the guy's name. Sorry about that. He was a really great Spider-Man, and his Peter Parker was so offensively bad that it made me hate the whole movie. But this new Spider-Man, he did both of them very well. They really let him shine in that role, and it was a lot of fun. Bucky, you know, I keep hoping for more Bucky, and they keep giving us more Bucky, and he was such a perfect Bucky in the first Avenger, and then he was such a perfect Winter Soldier, and in this movie he's kind of both, and he balances it really, really nicely, and I'm just super impressed with it, and want him to keep going. I want to see more of that plot too. As I mentioned before, they really used this movie to develop Wanda's character, Scarlet Witch. I thought that was a very wise move, because, you know, in the next Avengers movie, I assume we're going to see quite a bit of her, but this lets her sink her teeth into that role a little bit before we get there, and so I'm excited about her future too. Last but certainly not least, Black Panther. His role was just very well done, very appropriate for the movie. They kind of cast him as not really on anybody's side except his own and his country's, and that will land him, you know, in this civil war. As the newcomer that no one knows, but the way they developed his character, the way he fought, the way he played it, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So all in all, they did a great job with all of the characters. They did a great job with the plot. I was very excited about this movie. I think this is a worthy sequel to Winter Soldier. After the first Captain America movie, you know, Cap 2 and 3 have just both of them knocked it out of the park, and really showed that the best Marvel movies are not necessarily the Avengers movies. Both this one and Winter Soldier are both better films than Ultron. Arguably might be better than the first Avengers movie. I think that would be a really close one to call. But Captain America is really setting the bar very, very high, and I applaud them for that, and I want them to keep going. So Marvel, let me just direct this to you. As long as you want to make Captain America movies at this quality, you will have my money. I will be in the theater. I will buy the Blu-ray or whatever format we're on at this time. Keep it up, guys. This was good. All right, now for viewers, stay tuned. We are going to have another video. There's a couple of things I want to address, but with a spoiler tag on it. And so if you've already watched the movie, watch out for that. I will hopefully put that up very soon, within the next couple of days. Otherwise, y'all have a good day. Talk to you later.